is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are doing Crochet and Book Chat, Episode 2, a Q&A. So, I'm going to start crocheting. I'm working on my February genre blanket square. If you want to hear more about my genre blanket, the pattern and everything, and what I'm doing, I will direct you to last episode, the first episode of Crochet and Book Chat, wherein I talked about all things wrapping up 2024 and looking ahead to 2025. And I did talk about my 2024 and 2025 genre blankets there. But I'll be working on my February square. And for this Crochet and Book Chats episode, I decided to ask for some questions from you all, from my lovely subscribers / besties. And I thought I would get like just a couple. And then my plan was to answer those questions. And then also, because I didn't think I would get enough for a whole video, I was also going to do a tag, like a sort of get to know me style tag. But I actually got I feel like a lot of questions from just a couple people, but a lot of people, like everyone asked multiple questions, which I love and appreciate so much. So we're just going to go through those, and if there's time left at the end, I will perhaps do some tag questions, but I think I can yap about these questions for plenty of time. So some of the questions are about books, some of them are about crochet, and some of them are just about like me and my life. Am I going? Yeah, I'm gonna go slip stitch this round right here. I did start the slip stitch. I did start the square before turning the camera on because the first few rounds I have to like kind of look at the pattern to remember how to start it, because I have only done it once in January. Oh, come on. Okay, this is too tight. My tension, okay. Something that you need to know about me and my crochet journey is that my tension is ridiculously tight, and it has only gotten tighter over time. I literally, I have this long-term project I've been working on with like patchwork squares, and I took a break from it, and I hadn't made any squares in a while, and then I went back to it, and I tried to make a square, and I made a square they're just like single crochet squares, some of them are tapestry, for this project, and it was so much smaller than the ones I had made like 6 months prior. And I was like, what even is going on? Can my tension really have gotten that much tighter in 6 months? And yes, I guess it can. So I just went up a hook size for that project. And here I'm struggling with a slip stitch that doesn't want to slip because the stitch I'm trying to go into is so tight. So I'm just going to deal with that because I'm going to get frustrated. This usually doesn't happen. It's usually not this bad. Usually my tension is consistent at least, and I can crochet like normal and not have a problem, but I'm having a problem right now, so I'm going to deal with that. Okay, I did it. Now I have to switch colors. Once I finish the colored part and I'm just on the navy border, I'm going to be able to pay a little less attention to this, but I am switching colors for the first part of this. So I'm gonna switch colors, and then I will answer the first question. What color am I switching to next? Dark green. I also have some coffee because it's morning time again. The first set of questions comes from Martine, from just Martine, who, by the way, shout out. I love Martine as a person and also as a friend, and also I love their channel. I think they do incredible videos. I love TBR Crime. I love the 12 TBRs of Christmas. And I just love her vlogs too. They're just so nice and fun, and I love the way they talk about books, and she's just like an all-around great person and great creator. And thank you for these questions. But the first one is favorite sapphic book. So if you don't know about me, I'm a lesbian. And I do love a sapphic book. And whether it's romance or not, I love a sapphic book. And I have 5 to talk about because I couldn't just pick one. And they're also like across different genres because I'm not a huge romance girly. When I do read romance, I do prefer it to be sapphic or like queer at least. But I have sapphic recs across genres. But the first one is a romance. This is just the first one I thought of, and that is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I actually started reading Ashley Herring Blake. I read her middle grades, which are also sapphic, before Delilah Green came out as like her adult romance debut. And I love Ashley Herring Blake. I love the way she writes. I didn't love Astrid Parker, but I did love Delilah Green, and I gave it 5 stars. It was like probably the first romance. No, I don't know if that's true, but it's one of the only romances I've given 5 stars. And I really liked it. I just liked, I don't know how to say, I just liked it. I liked it. That's one that I feel like a lot of people know and have heard of, and like it's probably one of the first recommendations for sapphic romances, and I will jump on that train. I think it's really good. Like I said, I didn't like Astrid Parker as much. Iris Kelly was good too, but not as good as Delilah Green. But Delilah Green was like a 5-star and one of my tops of that year, so good on that one. A sapphic horror rec I have that's like kind of not one that people talk about all the time. Let me see. Am I slip stitching yet? The hard part about this pattern is figuring out the very end of the round. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sapphic horror rec is Alice Isn't Dead by Joseph Fink. So this is based on a podcast. If you've ever heard of Welcome to Night Vale, that's Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner's most famous podcast, but they're a writing duo, and they do podcasts, but they also, have a couple books based on their podcasts. I did another round. I have to switch colors again. I think I'm switching back to the sage green. And Alice Isn't Dead. I love Welcome to Night Vale. I really do. It's very queer. It's like silly horror, and it's just so fun. But Alice Isn't Dead is more horror-y, I would say. And what is going on here? I feel like something's wrong here, but maybe it's not. It gets all like bunched up around where the ends are, and it doesn't quite look right until I weave in the ends. And so I'm like trying to just trust it. I think it's because yeah, there we go. I keep getting distracted by my crochet, but that's what this video is, I guess. Alice Isn't Dead it's based on a podcast, but if you're not a podcast person, read the book, because the book is very good as well. And it's about this woman named Keisha who is searching for her wife. So basically her wife like kind of disappeared or like left her, I guess, but like just basically disappeared without a trace. And she thought she was dead. But then one time she sees on the news in the background, she sees her wife's name is Alice. She sees her wife in the background of this news story, just like staring at the camera. And she's like, what is going on? And so she becomes a truck driver, and she goes on this basically road trip around the country searching for her wife. And it's a horror, it's weird, but it's also like, I just think it's so good. I think the podcast is so good. I think the audiobook is so good. And it just is very well written and very fun as a horror. One thing that's interesting is that the podcast is in first person because it's like she's like doing these like radio broadcasts just on an empty channel talking to herself while she's driving. And then the book is written in third person. It's the same story, but it's written in third person in book form. And so I think that's interesting. I think I like the podcast better just because of that. But the podcast is 3 seasons, 10 episodes each. They're like 20, 30 minutes long. So it's a little bit more of a time commitment to listen to the podcast. But anyway, I love that story. The next one I want to talk about is Little Blue Encyclopedia for Vivian. This is a trans sapphic story about basically, like, I'm going to try to remember this correctly. So we have 2 women. One of them's trans, one of them's cis, and I can't quite remember which is which. I'm pretty sure it's the cis woman is the narrator, and she's talking about this trans woman who has passed away. I think it's that way around. And this book is basically like a love letter to her friend who has passed, but it's through an encyclopedia of the characters of this fictional TV show. And it's really weird, but it's really beautiful. And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. It was one of my favorite books, one of my top books of the year that I read it a couple years ago. And I just think it's phenomenal work of writing. And I highly recommend it if you're into weird books, if you're into weird queer books. Definitely recommend that one. Next one I'm going to talk about really quickly is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. That is was a foundational book for me in my queer identity that I read in high school. It's young adult. It is basically about this girl who goes off to college and kind of leaves her life behind. And it's about what she's left behind and what her new life is. And it's just really beautiful, I think. And I read it senior year of high school, and it made me realize I was like kind of in love with my best friend. So that's fun. And classic lesbian experience. And I just really loved it at the time, and I've reread it as an adult, and I thought it was really good still. I think it's really well written. I finished another round. I'm going to talk really fast about the last one because I've talked this is going to be a long video. It just is. That's kind of the point of these. These are podcast style long videos where I just chat. That's okay. My last one is a series. It's a like middle grade, starts very middle grade and like gets a little bit older as the characters grow, but like it's middle grade. Fantasy-ish series called The Rosewood Chronicles by Connie Glynn. The first book is Undercover Princess, and it's if you're into middle grade, I definitely recommend it. I need to see what color I'm doing next. If you're into middle grade, I definitely recommend it. It's a boarding school boarding school princesses sapphic drama. The concept, it's just so fun. The concept is that I'm doing this color next, this peacock, which I actually I didn't use it in January because I didn't have any books of that genre. Yeah, if you are into just like silly, fun, princessy middle grade, I would recommend it. I was telling you what the concept is. The concept is we have this girl, Lottie Pumpkin, yes, that is her name, who goes to this boarding school on scholarship, and she meets this girl, Ellie Wolf, and Ellie is secretly the princess of Meridova. I think Meridova? Maybe I'm mixing it up. Yeah, I think Meridova. And basically Lottie ends up pretending to be the princess, like to protect Ellie, Ellie's safety at the school. And it's just cute, it's fun, it's found family, it's sweet, and I really like this series. And actually, Connie Glynn has a new book that just came out that I think is it's a little bit older maybe, still young adult I think, but a little bit older aimed, and I don't know much about it, but it's called The Cursed Melodies, so I'm definitely interested in reading that. And those are my sapphic books I recommend. Across genres, across age ranges, those are some sapphic books that I recommend. If you haven't read any of them, I would recommend checking them out. I can't believe I've been recording for 17 minutes already, and I've only answered one question. That's okay. Martine also asked for a hetero romance that I surprisingly recommend, and this is one I talked about pretty recently because I read it pretty recently, and it's the only hetero romance or non-queer romance I've given above a 3.5 star. It's Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which is a hetero romance, shockingly, as is mentioned in the question, that I gave 5 stars. I just felt like Abby Jimenez wrote the characters' complex lives, their family dynamics, their friendship dynamics really, really well in this book, and I was rooting for the romance, and I just really liked it. It like got me in the feels about the other stuff that was going on besides the romance and the plot, and I really liked it. That's all I'm gonna say. I really liked it, and I read it in my video for Kayla for last year's Friends Faves, so I'll link that in the cards, so you can check that out if you want more thoughts on that. Okay, Martine's next question is a really fun one, because I get to show off some of my old crochet projects, and it is, Martine asked for 5 past projects and book recommendations that fit them. So this is 5. I know I did 5 for the first one, and she only even really asked for 1, but I'm going to try to go through them quickly. I am going to share patterns and yarns, in case you want to make any of these projects, and then book recommendations that fit them. Okay, first up, I'm going to tell you about this project before I show you. So my fiance really loves Magic the Gathering. She's been playing it for a really long time. And there's a card called the Git Rog Monster. And there is alternate art. I'll put the the regular card, the original, on the screen right now. But there is also alternate art for the Git Rog Monster that makes him cute. And I will put that up on the screen right now. And this is Abby, my fiance's favorite card, favorite magic card. And I crocheted the Git Rog Monster. And I'm going to show you right now. This is my Git Rog Monster that I crocheted for Abby. This pattern is called Arthur the Frog. It is by Critter Stitch. The yarn is DMC Natura Just Cotton in the color Bamboo. And then I used just like a random red yarn for the tongue and some embroidery thread and safety eyes. I love them. I think they are one of my favorite things I've ever made. I just am so proud of the shaping. This was also like really early on in my amigurumi journey. I'm going to show you my first amigurumi project in a minute. But this is the Git Rog Monster, and my book I'm going to recommend for this is Legends and Lattes, just because like I feel like this just gives cozy fantasy, like the cuteness, but like fantasy. I love Legends and Lattes. I thought it was great, along with most people also love Legends and Lattes, but the Git Rog Monster recommendation is going to be Legends and Lattes. I am actually going to go next to the first amigurumi project I ever did. If you don't know, amigurumi is the name for crocheting plushies, like stuffed things. It's called amigurumi. And this is my first amigurumi project. I made a lot of mistakes, but it's okay. I still love it. This is my peace sign cactus. This is the cactus hand pattern by Svetlana Hurova, and I did it in Brava sport weight yarn in obviously a bunch of different colors. And here it is. And I'm going to recommend for this one The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. I feel like it gives gay and also like just like silly goofy. And The Charm Offensive is that. I love The Charm Offensive. It is a silly goofy male romance set on a reality TV set where basically the bachelor ends up falling for a producer and male producer, and I thought it was excellent, and I'm going to recommend that for my peace sign cactus. Then we're going to go into some garments. The next one I'm going to talk about, I have so many things to show you in this video, just like kind of piled up over here. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is a failed garment. I wanted to make this pattern. It's I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll put the word on the screen and also the pattern, what it's supposed to look like on the screen. It's by Expression Fiber Arts, the pattern. I used Cascade Superwash Merino. It did not turn out right. I love the colors that I chose. It's kind of creased because it's just been like sitting in the bottom of a basket, waiting for me to frog and do something with this yarn. But I didn't gauge swatch it properly, and it just it's not quite long enough. It doesn't sit up on the shoulders the way I wanted it to, and I just am really not happy with it. So the book, and I don't know why I wanted to show this, but I just felt like it would be fun to show not all my projects turn out right. So that I'm going to recommend Seasonal Fears by Sean McBride, because that was a book. I don't know if I'm going to recommend it. That's the sequel to Middle Game. And I loved Middle Game, and I did not like this book. It was just fine. It was really disappointing. And I'm recommending it or using it for this project because I had high hopes for it and it let me down. And this cardigan I had high hopes for, and it let me down. Or I let myself down. I think the issue was that I just didn't gauge swatch it properly. And also maybe I don't know. I think mostly the issue is the gauge swatching. Because really the problem is that it doesn't fit right. And it doesn't drape right, which I don't know if that's my problem or the pattern's problem, but whatever. And then the last one, no, there's two more. I want to show you two. Wow, that was dusty. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was dusty. Let me get that off. Two successful garments. Number one is my hexagon cardigan. This is the Day Date cardigan pattern by Make and Do Crew. I'll put it on for you. I wear this all the time, actually. I love this, and I made one for my mom too. I'm going to insert a photo of me and my mom wearing our matching cardigans. For this, so I love this project. The yarn is Karen Blossom Cakes in the color Tide Pool, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I wear it all the time, and I wanted to recommend a book here that I feel like I think about a lot because I wear this project a lot. I am going to recommend The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. This was my favorite book of, I think, 2021 or 2022. Whenever I read it, this was my favorite book of the year. And I just loved it. It's about a math professor who has an 80-minute memory, and his housekeeper who takes care of him, and his housekeeper's son, and the relationships that those three individuals have with each other. I think about this book a lot. I really liked it. If you're into math, read it, but also if you are not a math person and want to just, I feel like I would recommend it just because it talks about the beauty of math without getting into the details. And I really liked that. I'm a math teacher. And I also just thought it was beautifully written and a beautiful story. And I really liked it. So that's my recommendation for this. And then the last one, I'm going to take it off because it's kind of warm. And then the last project I want to show you is my tennis skirt that I just finished recently. This skirt is, it's just called tennis skirt, crochet tennis skirt, the pattern. It's by Toy Slab Creations. This is a Karen cotton cake in the color Wild Blueberry. I have a matching top for this, so it's like a full matching set. I'm going to wear it to a concert in a couple weeks. I'm really excited about it. And I am going to, of course, recommend Carrie Soto's Back for this because it's about tennis. And I loved that book. I thought it was really good. It like made me care about something I don't typically care about, tennis. And I just feel like they match. So that's that pattern. I mean, that's that question. My coffee's getting cold. I'm going to have to make more later, like soon. And I'm changing colors again. What color am I changing to? I think I'm going back to sage green. No, I'm going to dark green, and then I'm going to navy for the border, so I won't be changing colors anymore. I'm going to change to the dark green, and then talk to you about my next question. The next question, actually not the last question from Martine, but the last question from Martine from this first comment that Martine left. I'm just yapping. That's okay. You're here for it. If you don't want to be here for it, then leave. Okay, so Martine asked how I plan my content and my schedule. So I just posted, actually, a couple weeks ago, I'll link it, my reading schedule video. So that's how I plan my reading, or how I have planned my reading for the last couple months. And there were my friends commented that they wanted one of those videos every month, so expect one for April as well. Though my April reading schedule is going to be a little weird just because I have a lot going on in April. I'm traveling a bunch in April, and the Women's Prize, there's just all sorts of stuff going on in April, but I will try to do a reading schedule video for April as well. How do I plan my content? It's a little haphazard. Like, my goal is to post 1 or 2 videos a week, at least 1 video a week. But if I don't have a video ready, I'm not going to post one. Like if I don't have an idea, if I don't have a video, then I'm not going to just rush to make something that I am not proud of, to get a video up, which is probably to the detriment of like my channel numbers and stuff, but that's not why I'm here. That's not what I care about. So I have my tipsy wrap-ups every month. Those I try to put up like the second week. My schedule is generally Mondays, and then if I have a second video, I'll do that on Thursdays. I edit always on the weekends because I have to use my fiance's computer to edit, and she's using it most of the time, so my editing time is when she's still asleep on weekend mornings and I'm up earlier. So I plan around that. I also, for tipsy wrap-ups, I have to film in the evenings, obviously, because I'm not gonna get drunk at 9 a.m. Yeah, I'm not gonna get drunk at 9 a.m. So those are evening filming videos. So that's the first thing I slot in every month, and then I'll slot in any other sit-down videos I have ready, and vlogs I usually work on for like a long period of time. I have 3 vlogs in progress right now, and those will be ready when they're ready, and then they'll get slotted in. I do have a Notion page where I organize my videos. It's just like a calendar view. I have a calendar view and a board view, so I can see videos by status, like is filming in progress, is it just an idea, is filming complete, is it ready to edit, is it posted. That's like status for the board view. And then I have a calendar view just to see like what weeks do I have a video planned and what do I not. It's really like I don't have a very strict planning system just because my channel content is not super strictly planned, honestly. At least for me, like relative to like my reading schedule, it's not strictly planned, but I just do my best. That's how I'm gonna answer that question. I just do my best. Okay. Those are Martine's first set of questions. Are there more questions from Martine? No, I think those are all the questions from Martine. Maybe. We'll see. If there's more, we'll see. And now we're getting into some questions from Ruby. Shout out Ruby. I love Ruby. Ruby from Ruby Red, a bestie of mine. We talk all the time. We love to do Zoom rating sprints together. And I love Ruby's channel. She has also started to branch out into fiber arts content. She just posted a knitting vlog that I loved, where she made a sweater, the step-by-step sweater pattern, which I have seen everywhere. I've started to get more into watching knitting and crochet content, even though I don't know how to knit, but we'll get into it. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but I don't know how to knit. I would love to know how to knit, but I just crochet. I don't know how to knit. I love Ruby. That's what I'm here to say. And if you don't follow Ruby and don't watch her channel, you definitely should. Ruby's first question is a great question. And it is a book that reminds you of the last person you talked to. So, yeah, I talk to Abby, my fiance, every day, obviously, because we live together. And I talked to her like briefly last night when I was saying goodnight. But really the last person that I like talked to was Ruby, and Adriana from Carbon Bonded Books, who I also love. We were on Zoom rating sprints last night and also just like kind of chatting. And so I'm going to do a book that reminds me of Ruby and a book that reminds me of Adriana. So Ruby first, because she asked this question. A book that reminds me of Ruby, I put 3. Number 1 is Burnham Wood, by Eleanor Catton, because we both loved that book last year. Number 2 is Briefly a Delicious Life by Nell Stevens, because that was both of our favorite books of the year in 2023. And the third one I put is just Robin Hobb in general. Ruby is a Hobb stan and has been, and kind of got like my whole, like I am reading The Realm of the Elderlings with a group of my friends, and that's like kind of because of Ruby. So I love Ruby. I love all of those books. And when I think of Robin Hobb, I think of Ruby. When I think of Ruby, I think of those books that we both love. She reads a lot. She reads fantasy, but she also reads a lot of like lit fic. I'm going to be reading the Women's Prize shortlist, and she is reading the shortlist for the Carol Shields Prize for Fiction, which is like kind of I don't want to say a competitor, but it's a comparable prize to the Women's Prize. It's for women and non-binary authors in the US and Canada, specifically. And then I feel like I should give another one that like, I'm going to say also The Island of Missing Trees, because I just gifted The Island of Missing Trees to Ruby for our Secret Santa. And she hasn't read it yet, to my knowledge. But it does remind me of her because the fig tree, is a perspective character. Like we hear sections narrated by the fig tree. And Ruby is our nature girly. She lives in the woods, in a cabin in the woods, which I love. And I feel like that book is very her, and I hope she loves it. That's by Elif Shafak. And then for Adriana, Adriana reads a lot of Greek myth retellings. That's like kind of her thing. So the first one that came to mind was The Shadow of Perseus, which is actually, it was her favorite book, I think, of 2023. And I did not like it at all. It was her pick for the Shelf This Book Club at one point, so I read it and I really didn't like it. But I also am going to say Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, which is another Greek myth retelling. It's actually of the same story, of the Perseus and Medusa story, and I liked Stone Blind. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And it just reminds me of her because it's such like a powerful badass woman story, and I feel like Adriana is really a powerful badass woman, like a woman in a male dominated field, in her work, and also she just like is gorgeous and so fun to be around, and just a badass. So that's my Adriana book. All these people's channels will be linked down below also that I'm talking about. You should definitely check them out. Adriana is doing mostly short form content now, but she has a huge backlog of long form as well, and I love her, and I love her videos. Ruby's next question was dream honeymoon location. And so I'm getting married this summer. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when I get to Marcella's questions. But our honeymoon plan, which is still kind of a up in the air sort of plan, we'll see what ends up happening. But our plan was to go fly out to Northern California and rent an RV and RV camp for a couple weeks. And I am so excited for that if it ends up happening. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air just with the world, and I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, I'm really excited for that. But like so that is what's probably happening. And so like that's my dream. That's going to be awesome. That's what works for myself and my fiance. I feel like this is going to sound weird and maybe bad, but like if I was marrying someone different, like, or like if it was just me, but you said dream honeymoon location. I'm going to talk about dream travel locations of like just me, because this is not what would happen just because of Abby's preferences. But I would love, and this is something that I do maybe intend to do someday, I would love to do like a European tour, where I like fly to probably the UK and then take the train and go to Paris and across Italy and like maybe Switzerland. I don't know. Like I just would love to travel Europe and just hit a whole bunch of cities, and do all the things. I love to travel. My fiance doesn't love to travel. She loves to be at home, and I respect that. But I love to travel, and I love to solo travel too. So I want to do more of that kind of moving forward. So yeah, I'm gonna say like Northern California camping, RV situation is like the plan, and would be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun if we can get our act together to actually do it. We'll definitely do it eventually. I just don't know if it's going to be like right after the wedding this year. Or Europe. I feel like I messed up. Maybe not. I'm just going to keep going. I'm on the ends are in the way, but this is the colorful part of the square, and I'm now on the navy border. Next question from Ruby. Ooh, okay, next 3 projects to crochet. I feel like every day I go into to Ruby, and I'm like, I want to start a new crochet project. And she's like, no, finish your whips. And she's right. She's so right. And I have been resisting, but I do have so many crochet plans. So I'm going to share 3. I'm going to share my 3 projects that I actually already have yarn for. There's like way more projects that are just like dreams in my head that I don't have yarn for, but 3 projects that I have yarn for that are like actually coming up imminently. Number 1 is the Teardrop Halter by Brittany Alice Crochet. I actually already made one of these. That's the top that is matching with my tennis skirt, is a teardrop halter, but I'm going to make, because I have the yarn already, that's like my next project, make one of these teardrop halters in these colors for Ashley from, she's of Fiction and Fantasy on Instagram, and I think she's going to look so cute in this. I am so excited to make it for her. I'm so excited for her to have it and wear it. My goal is to make that this spring and send it off to her so she can wear it this summer. So that's like once I finish a couple whips, that's my like next project to start. And then another project that I have yarn for that I'm really excited to start is the Sweet Summer Tea by Rachel Meisner. This, I actually like kind of adjusted the pattern a lot. I took the structure of it, but I kind of did all my own numbers with my own gauge. I did the math. I'm using Morocco Modern Cotton DK, and these colors is going to be a striped, like a wide stripe, basically t-shirt. It's super light, super soft, super nice. I'm really excited to have this. This one's for me to wear this summer. So that's next. I actually bought these yarns with Ruby at Webb's, which is local to me. She came to visit to go to Webb's, which I love. And we went together, and Webb's is super like kind of overwhelming because it's just a huge yarn store with so much yarn, but it's really fun to go there and to pick out yarn and like, what can I make with this? What can I make with this? And so I decided to make that little summer cotton t-shirt with that green and blue yarn. And then another one that I've had yarn for a while, but I would like to get to it soon. This is probably like a summer project to then wear when it gets colder. I have these yarns. They're from Emma's Yarns. This is a merino, superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon. And then this is mohair and silk, in these beautiful like burgundy color. And I want to make a mohair, obviously. I want to make a striped, like sweater, cropped sweater. If I have enough, it might end up being just a bolero, but I would like to make a cropped sweater, and I want to use the mohair bolero pattern by Amazingish Grace. That one's actually free on YouTube tutorial, and there's also a written pattern that you can pay for. It's like striped with the mohair, and I just love it. I love the ones that Amazingish Grace has made, and I'm really excited to make one with these. I would like to make it like ideally, I want long sleeve, longer than a bolero, but still like kind of cropped. I think it would be super cute and fun. So that's like an upcoming project. Those are my 3 upcoming projects that I'm going to talk about today. And then the last question from Ruby for now, though I'm going to return to Ruby at the end because she left 2 comments, is favorite mixed drink. We know I love a cocktail. I love, actually, before I get to my favorite mixed drinks, I love going to a restaurant and ordering like a fancy specialty cocktail that I haven't had before. That's like my favorite experience, like, or a bar. Though, like, if I'm going to a bar, like if I'm going like out at night, I tend to just get something cheap, like hard seltzers, because I want to like be drinking multiple of them. Whereas like if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm only getting one. And then I want to get something like fancy and more expensive and like specialty. So, my favorite like classic mixed drink is probably a tequila sunrise. I also love a lemon drop. I think they're called lemon drops. I like have had several different like kind of types of like lemon drop inspired mixed drinks at different restaurants, and I just love a lemony mixed drink. I'm a sweet drink girly, obviously based on my choices. I like most drinks. I am mostly a tequila vodka girl in terms of liquor. And I just like a sweet drink, and I bonus points if it's pink or has edible glitter. So I love to try new things. I love to try new drinks, and I always gravitate to the sweet drinks on the menu. But like if I'm just at a bar and I like I'm just going to go up and I'm going to order a mixed drink, I'm probably going to order a tequila sunrise or like a vodka cran. Yeah. Okay. Cheyenne from Cheyenne Buck Books, who is kind of, I feel like, a new friend of mine. She's been around these circles for a while, but I feel like I've just been getting to know her as she started her channel. And I love her channel, by the way. You should check it out. She asked, favorite place or creator to get crochet patterns. I find basically all my crochet patterns on Ravelry or Pinterest. I'll search Pinterest for like inspiration, but I'm more likely to get patterns on Ravelry. I just use the advanced search on Ravelry and until I find what I'm looking for. I usually like start with kind of a vision of a type of garment and or item, and then I search on Ravelry until I find something that's close to what I'm looking for. For blankets, I love, in terms of specific like designers, for blankets, I love Teal Yarn Crafts. This blanket is a Teal Yarn Crafts pattern because she has done a temperature blanket for the last like 8 years. And so like if I'm looking for a new genre blanket pattern, I'm gonna go to Teal Yarn Crafts. But garments, I don't really have favorite designers. I mostly just like search around on Ravelry until I find something that I like. So that would be my recommendation if you're looking for patterns. Go to Pinterest for inspiration, but often links on Pinterest are broken or like, I don't know. And I just feel like Ravelry is a better place to search for patterns specifically. Because their advanced search function is just really good, I think. Up next, okay, Marcella. Marcella is Marcella in the Margins. Her channel is great also. If you're a litfic reader, or just want like I feel like her channel is very cozy. It just like talks about books in a kind of long form, almost podcasty style. She doesn't do as many vlogs, I don't think. It's mostly like sit down, just chatting videos about books. And I love the way she talks about books. So I definitely highly recommend her channel. She said, oh my God, it's been so long. Maybe I need to split this video. No, I'm getting towards the end. She said, I know you used to do ballet. Can you tell about that? Was it a career or a hobby? Do you still dance? I'd love to know. So I started dancing when I was like 3, right? Like my parents put me in ballet classes. And I actually at first, when I was like really young, I did not like ballet. I was more of like a jazz, tap, musical theater dancer. And then when I was in, later on, when I was like, I started to get more into ballet when I got a little older. And I did start point at, I don't know, 14 probably. I was never a competitive dancer or I always went to like kind of family studios. So it was very like, I wasn't like a pre-professional dancer and I wasn't a competitive dancer, but I did dance a lot. Like that was my primary hobby growing up. It was my sport. It was my thing. And I would dance. I would have class like 3-4 days a week when I was growing up. And I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And then when I went to college, I was actually a dance major. Oh, I'm hungry. I don't know if you heard my tummy rumbling, but I'm hungry. Because I've been filming for an hour. When I went to college, I was actually a double major in dance and history. And I did mostly contemporary modern dance in college. But I was also part of the Columbia University Ballet Ensemble, which did a full-length ballet every semester. So we did, first one I did with them was Don Quixote. And then it was like kind of weird with COVID because COVID was in the middle of my college experience. But we were rehearsing for Cinderella, and that was the one that got like shut down. And then we did Midsummer Night's Dream as like a virtual production, and also, then when I came back, we did Le Corsair. Um, and yeah, I love ballet. I love dance, first and foremost. I would say like I'm primarily a I'm I've always kind of identified as primarily not a ballet dancer. More of like a contemporary modern dancer or a jazz tap musical theater dancer, but I did ballet for 18 years ish. Um, and I do love ballet. Um, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I still dance? Um, Not really. I would love to. I would love to get back to some classes. But I just haven't in a long time. It's hard to get myself to go out and do it and go to new places and stuff, but um, I love ballet. I love to watch ballet, and it still like holds a really special place in my heart. Um, because I did it for so long and it was so close to my identity. Actually, maybe while I was talking about this, I will, or right now, I'll insert a clip, a time lapse, because when I was in college, um, during COVID, and I was not at my school, not in the studio. I was still taking dance classes. I was a dance major. And I used to use my phone on time lapse as a mirror in my ballet classes. So I will insert, and it's probably been on the screen, a time lapse of me taking class, or maybe a couple of them. These are from my junior fall semester of college. And yeah, I love looking back at these time lapses. I think they're a super cool, like, kind of memento to have from that time and of my time as like a ballet dancer. So yeah, that's my ballet story. Couple more questions from Cheyenne. Can you tell us anything about Wonderthon 3? Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. I'll tell you it's going to be the second half of June again. I have the dates. I'll probably announce the dates in the Discord pretty soon, but it's going to be 2 weeks with 3 weekends again, like it has been. My tummy is really rumbling. I gotta wrap this up. I gotta eat some breakfast. It's gonna be the second half of June. I will tell you that all my team captains are coming back again, so the team captains are going to be the same, which is really exciting because I love them. One of them was almost like, oh, I don't want to do it this year, and then she decided she would, so I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I was so glad when, like, I wasn't going to pressure her, but I was so glad when she said she would do it again. So team captains are going to be the same, though if you're watching this from Wonderthon, I know a lot of people have loyalty to their team captains, but I would love to see some like shake up in the teams this year. I think that would be really fun to just have like new loyalties and new teams with different people mixed up on them. I think that would be fun, but no pressure. You can choose your team, whatever. There's a new theme. We went ancient, Renaissance. We're doing something new. I'm not going to tell you what it is though. And we have there's going to be 4 categories. Again, the structure is going to be roughly the same as it was the last couple years, but we do have a new, like, type of category, kind of. Like, there's a new board, a new prompt board, that I am really excited about. A new structure for a prompt board. I also have some, like, exciting things planned that are going to start midway through the readathon. Something that I've struggled with in planning this year is how to keep the excitement rolling for people who have done it the past couple years. Like, I want to have new stuff that's new and exciting and like feels like it's building from the last couple years, but I don't want to overwhelm anyone who might be new, because I know that this readathon and all the rules are like kind of a lot, and if I'm going to add even more complicated rules and stuff and like elements into the announcement video, I feel like that's just gonna discourage new people from joining. I don't want it to feel like you can't join and be new if you haven't done it the last couple of years. So my like kind of compromise there was that I decided to do a couple things that are going to not be in the announcement video. I'll tease them. They're not going to be in the announcement video, but then start midway through and be like kind of almost optional extras to like really build for people who know this game and love this game and have played the last couple years, but not be too much for people who haven't, who are new. So yeah, that's exciting. Another thing I'll say is that I'm behind. I feel like this time last year, I had it all 100% planned. The spreadsheet was done. The rules document was done. It was like all ready. And I am not in that space this year. Like I have everything is planned in my head, but I haven't made the spreadsheet and I haven't like, I'm still working on the writing it all out in the rules document. And actually I don't have everything planned because I still need some prompts. I want to like shake up and do some new prompts this year, and I am still thinking of those prompts. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below for new prompts. If you think about like what the civics board has been the last couple of years with just like a list of prompts or like prompts for the art category for graphic novels. I will also say the feedback form is so helpful in planning. Like I really do refer to that and use that, and the feedback that I get, I really take into consideration because I want this to be better every year. So yeah, that's what I'll say about Wonderthon 3. I know I'm keeping a lot from you, but it's exciting to keep secrets, and I hope that you're excited too, because I'm really excited to do this again, and I'm really excited about the theme and everything that I have cooked up. So yeah, that's Wonderthon 3. And another question from Cheyenne, what is a book I wish I could go back and read again for the first time? This is a question I struggle with. Like, I feel like it's a question that, like, gets floated around a lot, and I don't really know. I'm gonna say the one that I put down when I was, like, kind of planning my answers for this video was The Secret History, just because I think of that as a book that I loved. And I want to reread it, but I would love to read it again for the first time, because I feel like I'm such a different person than I was when I first read it in like, I don't know, 2020 or 2021. And I'd love to read that again for the first time. I think it would be a great experience, and I would love to like come at it fresh with my current brain. And while I will be doing that when I reread it eventually, it's different when you have like preconceived notions about a book. I would love to go into that book like totally blind without any preconceived notions of anything. I think that would be really cool. Another question from Marcella. Am I right in thinking you are getting married this summer? Love to know if you can reveal any wedding plans, and how did you two meet? I'll start with wedding plans. Yes, I'm getting married this summer in July. There's a lot to do, still a lot to plan, but it's going to be a small, medium wedding, really close to where we live. Friends and family, 75 to 100 people. So like a decent amount of friends and family, but not huge. I have my dress. It's not tailored yet, doesn't quite fit perfect yet, but I will put a little video of me twirling in it on the screen. And what else can I say? I don't know. Like, I am excited to be married because I love my fiance, and I'm excited for the wedding. I'm excited for just to have a big party. Some of my booktube friends, a lot of my booktube friends are actually going to be coming, and I'm really excited about that. There's a couple people coming that I haven't met IRL before, like Martine from Just Martine is coming, and I also will get to meet like just see again, like people like Danielle from Danielle Reads, I have videos with her on my channel, so I've like met her before. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be really fun. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of low key, pretty non-traditional in terms of like style. Pretty non-traditional and pretty casual. But I'm really excited. I feel like I have so much to do and so much to plan, but it's going to be really nice, really fun, I think really special. So, yeah. And how did we meet? We actually met online in the year 2020. I was living in Maryland. I went to school in New York, but for that year, I like got sent home to Maryland. And because that's where I grew up, in Maryland, close to DC. And Abby was living here in Western Massachusetts, where we live now. And we met actually in a Twitch chat. I had never been in a Twitch chat before, and I haven't been in one since. But it was a weird time. We were all looking for spaces on the internet where we could find community. The Twitch channel was Bailey versus Predator, Bailey Myers, who I knew from YouTube, and Abby knew from Twitter, I think. And we just found ourselves there and in the corresponding Discord. And we became really close friends through that. And then we became more than friends. And then I came to visit for the first time, and we met in person for the first time after we had been dating for 3 months in February of 2021. And it went so well. And we continued to be long distance. We were long distance for about a year and a half. While I was in college. First I was living in Maryland, and then I was living back in New York at school, and I would come visit. When I was living in New York, I came to visit like every other weekend. I always say I was like Amtrak's best customer, because I would just like take the train up for the weekend, and we would spend the weekend together, and then I would go back down to New York. And then once I graduated undergrad in May of 2022, I moved up here, and I moved in with her immediately. And we've been living together ever since. I proposed in January of last year, of 2024. And yeah, that's how we met. We met online. It's kind of a weird story, through like Twitch and Discord and very like online, but like not a dating app, which is kind of interesting and fun. So yeah, that's our story. And we're getting married in July. And yeah, she probably, I don't know if she'll ever be on camera. I would love to do a video with her, but, I'll leave that up to her. Yeah, so that's Abby. Her name's Abby. I've mentioned that. And that's my fiance. That's how we met. We're getting married in July. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. I have 2 more questions from Ruby. Number 1 is a bookish hot take. So she asked for a bookish hot take and a crochet hot take. And I will give you both of those kind of rapid fire. I'm not going to really even explain myself. And I'm going to give you a bonus hot take about something that's not books or crochet. So my bookish hot take, I have 2 of them actually. Number 1, I am anti sprayed edge and special edition. I think most of them are ugly. Number 2, I think the writing in Project Hail Mary is bad. Crochet hot take. I'm just not gonna, no explanation. Crochet hot take. Actually, this one I am gonna give an explanation for because I would like to discuss it a little bit. I think that it's so much harder to design patterns and to be a crochet artist if you are plus sized or even mid sized. And this is inspired by something that Ruby said to me. I was talking about, we were talking about our favorite like crochet fiber arts content creators, and I mentioned Amazingish Grace, who I mentioned one of her patterns earlier. And I love Amazingish Grace. I think her videos are awesome. They're really, really good. She's very funny. She's very engaging personality, and she's a very talented designer. But Ruby said something about how like, yes, she's very talented. She agrees with me, but also like she's so tiny that like she can kind of just put scraps of fabric on her body and it looks great because she's so gorgeous, so conventionally attractive, and has such a she's so skinny. Like, and that makes a huge difference. Like, someone, not every body type could wear the things that she designs and look good. She looks good because she has a very traditionally attractive body and person. And that has just got me thinking a lot about mid-size and plus size pattern designers, and how I think it's like really a skill to like properly size grade your patterns. And I feel like that's talked about a little bit, but I don't know if it's talked about enough, that like making something, you can't just make something bigger and have it still look good. And so there's a lot of skill that goes into size grading properly, and also into designing patterns and garments for larger bodies. So that's my crochet hot take. And my bonus hot take that I'm just going to leave you with is that sandwiches, as a concept, are not that good. Kind of disappointing. I don't love a sandwich. So, there you go. I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for the questions. And I can't believe I talked for an hour. That's crazy. More than an hour. I'm going to join this round, and then I will show you what I did today. I did a lot of progress today, actually. And yeah, and then we will say goodbye. Here, I hate, okay, here. Ignore the ends that I still need to weave in, but here is my February genre blanket square. I'm going to make it bigger with this navy border, and then weave the ends in, but we did this basically all while chatting, so good for me, good for us. Leave comments down below. Just discuss any of these things with me. Comment down below your bookish and crochet and other hot takes, if you have any, and like this video, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for listening to me yap. If you did the whole time, I appreciate that so much. And I will see you in the next one coming very soon. I need some breakfast. Bye.